I am here, Helen. I am very happy, and so are you, as I can see, for you are not worried tonight, but you must not try to write much more, for our condition is not so good as it might be. Yes, I think so, or if you feel that you should, write a little. Let your grandmother write, as she is here and wants to say something to you about your love for God and his love for you, your own true and loving Helen. I am here, your grandmother. I wish to tell you more about the things of the Spirit, for they are the important things that you should know. You are very near the kingdom, and if you keep on trying to have more of God's love in your soul, you will soon realize the full joy and peace which comes with such possession. Try to let your heart receive more of his love, for he is always ready and waiting to bestow his love upon you. He is the one lovely Father for you to long for and keep with you in all your thoughts and aspirations. Do not let the worries of life keep you from loving and believing that he wants you to become one with him in love and grace. He is not only waiting for you to let his love flow into your heart, but he is continuously knocking at the door of your heart, that you may open and let him enter. Be true to your best spiritual longings, and you will soon feel that you have got that in your soul, which will give you perfect peace and happiness. You are only now beginning to learn that you must feel that your Father is so near you that he must become a part of your life and being. When that love has fully taken possession of you, you will know that you are his own true and reconciled son, just as all who have come into a realization of that love. So do not doubt that you may become such a son of your Father, for I tell you that I know from my own experience the grandeur of living in the favor of his blessing. Be my own dear boy, and do not try to reach out and get this love. You must not be my own dear boy, and do try to reach out and get this love. You must not let the things of your earth life keep you from the higher things that the Father has prepared to give you. You will soon know, as I know, that the only things worth striving after are the things of the spiritual love of the Father. Be more attentive and conscientious to get this knowledge, and it will come to you in all its beauty and convincing force. I so wish that you could see the Holy Spirit's work among men and spirits, for then you would not doubt any more that God is a God of love, and not of anger or retribution. Keep praying, for that is the one great means to receive the love of God. Without prayer, men cannot reach the answering ear of the Father's grace. He will hear the penitent only, for he will not accept anyone who is not truly and earnestly seeking him. Man has a will to either accept or reject the love of God, and until he exercises his will in a way to show that he wants that love, it will not be given him. No man is ever forced to love God or let God's love come into his heart. The love of God cannot be defined, for it passes all understanding, but the result of that love, when in the souls of men, can be seen and felt in the exceeding beauty in the countenances of men and in their wonderful happiness. No fear of death or anything that makes afraid can possibly exist where this love is. It is not the love that permits any feelings of jealousy or envy to have an entrance, but is so perfect and all soul filling that there cannot possibly be any room for anything but its own great self. I know that the love of God is the only thing that can make man supremely happy while on earth, and after he becomes a spirit. My love for him is such that I love every one of his creatures, be they saints or sinners, and that is the difference between the love that he inspires in his children and the love that exists among men and spirits, which has not his love for its foundation. Be sure that no man can be perfectly happy without this divine love. Your wife is progressing very rapidly in the way to this perfect love, and I think that in a short time she will be with me in my sphere, for she will not let anything come between her and her efforts to possess the greatest amount of this love that is possible to obtain. It is wonderful how her faith has grown since she first became convinced that she must seek the Father's love in order to become one with him and perfectly happy. You must try to get this faith and progress with her, so that when you come over, you will go forward together in soul development and conjugal love. She is now in the third heaven, as she has told you, and she is almost in a condition of development to leave that sphere and go with your mother to the fifth sphere, where her happiness will be so much greater. Wow. She loves you so much that you must feel that she wants you to be with her in all her happiness. She is not the same Helen as when she was on earth, but is so much changed that your mother says her appearance is as different as earth from heaven. She is not only changed in her appearance, but in her temperament and desires for those things which do not tend to retard the progress of the soul. Let her tell you of her love for you, and you must believe that what she is telling you. You must believe what she is telling you, as she is not one who is in a condition to speak anything else than the truth. Her love for you is so great that I sometimes wonder how it can be. For while we all love you as well as our soulmates, yet she seems to have such intense love for you that we wonder. We think that her nature is so intense that she cannot do anything in a way that is not the result of her strong and earnest constitution, or rather, that is not the result of a power that knows no limitation in effort or force. But while she loves you so intensely, her love for God is not interfered with in the least. For just as she gives her whole soul to loving you, she devotes it to loving God also. And when you do come over, you will find such love in her heart for you as we seldom see in the spirit life for our soulmates. But you must not think from this that we do not love intensely also, and the love that we have for our soulmates is very great and deep, as I must tell you. But she seems to be almost consumed by this love for you, and you must never do anything to hurt her or make her feel that you do not want it or deserve it. My dear boy, we must stop writing now, as you are not in condition to write more. So I will say good night, and God bless you and keep you in his love and care. Your loving grandmother, Anne Rollins. I love you. Yes, she did. And she did not tell you all, for she cannot know it all, but I know, I tell you that my love for you is not capable of being told. Good night, my own dear Ned. Helen. December 16th, 1914, 2 messages. I am here, your old partner. I want to talk a little with you. You have not given me the opportunity before, and I commence to think that you did not wish to hear from me. Well, I will try my best, and will talk to you about the laws of control of spirits over human beings. You are not very different from us in your mental or spiritual conditions. We, of course, have no physical bodies, but our spiritual bodies are very much like those we had on earth in form or shape, except that we are young and strong and not affected by those things which you are subject to. You must know, however, that we are all affected to a greater or lesser degree by the condition of our soul development. Your wife, for instance, is now a very beautiful spirit, both as regards her spiritual body as well as her spiritual soul. She is one of the most beautiful that I come in contact with, except your mother and grandmother, who are beyond my ability to describe. I am also very different, but not so very much changed, as I have not yet made very great progress in the things pertaining to the development of the soul. My ideas are not very much changed, as I still think that I am a man who must depend upon himself for his advancement, and that God is away off somewhere in the heavens and not much interested in my welfare. But your father is now in another plane, and I commence to wonder why he should progress and I be left to live on this earth plane. And as I think of this, I feel that there must be something more to my being lifted out of my present conditions through my own efforts. I hear what your mother tells me, but somehow I do not quite catch the import of her teachings, as I believe that her ideas are more or less the result of her training on earth, and have no actual foundation for a belief in the help of the Holy Spirit to rest upon. But as I see the wonderful change in your wife and father, I cannot but think that there must be something more than my own efforts at elevating myself, and is necessary to my rising out of my present condition. So I'm thinking deeply on the subject. Your grandmother has also told me of the wonderful work of the Holy Spirit in her case, as well as that of very many other spirits who were in my condition when they first came to the spirit world, and it all makes me think that there is something in this wonderful transformation of these spirits beyond what I have ever thought of. I will try to learn what it is if I possibly can. So if you can help me in any way, please do so, for I do not want to remain in this state if there is any way for me to progress out of it. You seem to be in great favor with some spirits who have told me that they were benefited by you, and hence I say, if you can help me, do so. I have had a spirit come to me who said he was Jesus, but I did not believe him, even though he was of a most exceeding brightness and loveliness. I do not believe in his being Jesus, even though your mother told me that he was. But until I can see that he is the true Jesus, I do not care to listen to him, for I have never believed that Jesus is any more than man, or that he can save anyone from sin or error. Yet as he seems so good and lovely, I sometimes think that maybe I am all wrong, and that he is, in truth, what he claims to be. I will in future listen more to him, and if he can show me the way to higher things as your mother claims he can, I will let his teachings linger in my thoughts for consideration. I am not very happy, as I have told you, but I am studying the laws of the spirit world and find them very interesting to my peculiar make of mind. I find that you can sense my thoughts and write them as you are now doing. But when you are not in condition, you cannot hear what I say, or I cannot cause you to move the pencil in conformity with what I desire you to write. Why this is, I am not yet able to determine. But I am told by those who have given a longer investigation on the subject that you have certain qualities that must respond to certain qualities that I have, and if they do not, then there can be no communication. What these qualities are, I do not know, only that they do exist, and that the more perfect they are, the more successful the writing of them with mine. You call it rapport, but that is not exactly the whole meaning of the condition, for some people seem to have these qualities, and yet between them and the spirit there is not any rapport, condition of love, or sympathy, or what else that may be understood in the term. So you see, we do not exactly know just what is necessary to establish this junction of powers or qualities. I am trying to discover, if possible, what this is. You seem to have these qualities to a very large extent, and I find no difficulty in coming with a condition that enables me to freely express to you and receive what I wish to communicate. I will inform you of my efforts just as soon as I am able to discover the real secret of this condition that exists. You are writing what I really express to you. There is no such thing as a subconscious mind. The only mind that you have is the one that enables you to express what you really know of your own thoughts, which do not depend upon what others may infuse into your brain, as I am doing now, but which have their own origination in your brain and which do not result from exterior minds. What is called the subconscious mind is merely an imaginary thing used by the scientist to denote that which they have no better name to call it by. It is not a part of yourself or your brain, but only the image that these wise men use for what they are not able to explain. So do not think that when something comes from your consciousness that you cannot account for, that it is the subconscious self that produces it. It is not. There are only two sources of thought. One that enters from your own brain, or one that arises from your own brain, and the other that comes to you from outside minds as consciousness, which is that condition of being that enables you to feel or know that certain things exist either as actualities or as mere ideas, which so far as you know, have no real existences. Consciousness is a realization of being. Nothing that does not exist or is capable of expressing itself in consciousness. Mere dreams are not really things that lie in consciousness, for they do not always have an existence. They are only shadows of what might have an existence. So you see, consciousness is not anything else than the evidence of what exists and of what your brain feels or knows. Do not think that I can tell you everything that you may want to know, for I cannot. I am only a student as you are, but of course I am an older one, and am in a position to possibly learn more than you. You must not think that memory is an evidence of any subconsciousness, because it is just as much of the faculty of the brain as any other part of it that shows its operations. Memory is not separate or distinct from the brain. It is merely that portion which keeps it in full existence, knowledge or experiences already gained. Memory creates nothing new, and when you recall things that you once knew and have forgotten, memory only supplies those things from its storehouse which you put there to have filled. So let not the thoughts that memory is anything other than a part of the brain. No subconscious self is involved in memory, but memory is its own self and is only a part of the brain, as I have said. There is no middle ground between the brain as a generator or instrument of producing thought and the minds of spirits or others who supply independent thoughts, even though sometimes the wise men thought that such thoughts are of their own creation. You seem to be very much interested in this matter, and I will give more attention to its study and try to learn the operation of the thoughts of spirits upon the brains of mortals. No laws that I am acquainted with show that a thought is other than the emanation of what passes through a man's brain and what spirits put into it. I mean that thoughts are not the result of anything but that which arises from the observations of the five senses of a man or from what is suggested by spirits. I have not made myself very clear, I know, but sometime I will write to you more fully and clearly on this subject. I am engaged in studying the laws of spiritual life and its connection with the earth life. I do not yet know just what that connection is, but I believe that I will very soon. I am sure that you will be much benefited if you will let me tell you occasionally just what your relation as a human is to yourself when you come over here. I do not know that I am very different from what I was on earth, except that I am no longer suffering from the limitations which the body placed on me. Yeah, that's how I felt. My mind is just the same, and my ideas of life are nearly the same, except that I see that material things are not of very much importance to a man, even when he is on earth. You may do everything possible to accumulate and enjoy these things, but in a moment you are without them, except as your earthly desires and cravings for them may cause you to believe, even after you are here, that they are still with you. Yeah. This is the only great thing that prevents spirits from progressing to higher things. I never cared much for these material things, yet I find that even the little desires that I had to possess them have held me from my progressing to a plane where I am informed intellect rules supreme, and when great minds exchange thoughts of moment to both spirit and earth life. Yes, sometimes he is in the third sphere and is a very happy spirit and is much engaged in his studies of spiritual things. He should be able to tell you a great deal about these things if you give him the opportunity. Yes, I see Mr. Riddle and Bert very often. They are not very happy because they think that the spirit life is not what it should be. They do not realize that they are altogether in the spirit, but have an idea that they are still part of the earth, and consequently, as they cannot take part in earthly affairs, they are not so happy. Your mother has been talking to them a great deal lately and trying to teach them of the spiritual things that she so believes in, but I doubt if they are very much impressed. No, I cannot help them, for I do not believe in such things as I told you. I will try to do as you say, but it will be hard for me to believe that prayer is anything more than the mere expression of a desire and reaches no higher than a man's own mind and wishes. I will do as you suggest, and if you are right, I shall not fail to give it all my earnest and deepest efforts. But if you are right, I shall never know how to thank you. But you will know just as soon as I know. But in the meantime, do not let the thought that I am not doing all that I can to make a better man of myself enter into your mind, for I am. I will pray with you, as you say. I commence to see what you mean, and it seems to me that there is some true philosophy in what you say. I want to get everything that any of God's children may have, and if what you tell me is the only way to get this wonderful happiness, I will try, even though my doubts are now mountains high. I will pray with you tonight and try to believe with all my mind and soul. Yes, I will give my attention to them also, and if they tell me what they actually know, I will get the happiness which they have. So do what you think is best for me, and I will have the faith that you speak of. Yes, your father is very different in his appearance, and I wondered what caused it, and thought that maybe some peculiar condition of his spiritual body had been created by something which he had learned from his wife or mother-in-law. But I now see that it must have been caused by some other powers of influence, and I want it too, if it is for me. Yes, I see that you are very much interested in not only myself, but in them, and I will try my best to obtain what you tell me of, so that I may help them, as you say. I know that I was not given to spiritual things on earth, but I did not see the necessity of being so, for I thought that when I died I would not need anything but my own help to live a life of comparative happiness. But if you are right, I will soon know the difference, for I shall do as you say. I will pray and ask God to give me faith to believe that He is my Savior from sin. Yes, I see that there must be something in it. They are all claiming to have the love but myself, so I must be wrong and they right. You are right. Let me think of what you have told me, and I will soon know if I am to be like the rest of the band. Yes, I know that you loved me even when on earth, and that thought has helped me to believe that what you tell me to believe, and that what you tell me now is the outgrowth of your love. I am so glad that I have you to think of me and show me the way now. I will say good night. Your one-time friend, A.G. Riddle.